I am happy to be here as an independent member of the opposition to wish everybody a happy 2025 and also to express my condolences as my colleagues did in relation to persons who've passed and especially the young man who lost his life within the last few days. I'm very happy that we are having this discussion, leader, and I expect that this will be a regular session where we will be able to keep the public informed of all our activities of the House and the matters that are of interest to the public. Last week, the governor opened the new session of the House with a throne speech. And it was an interesting speech. There was a lot on the environment, which was excellent. There was a lot on good governance. But I have to say, as my colleague from the 8th said, there wasn't a lot on economic development and the economy of this territory. In fact, we continue to be bound up with what I call bureaucracy. We can't seem to get rid of the bureaucracy. I was at the conference that the leader of the opposition spoke about, and I invited myself, by the way. We were not invited, but I invited myself from last year when I heard about it, and so my name was on the program, and I attended. And it was amazing to hear one of the speakers made the true statement that there has not been any real development in the country, any new development, investment in the country, I should say, in terms of we're talking about hotel developments in the last 20 years. And it was a very eloquent panel experienced. And there were 2 points that they made that was of interest to me. One was the need for us to be more intentional in terms of investment. We have to go after investment. And the other thing that was said, which we know of, is that there is significant bureaucracy. I myself got up and said that, endorsed the point about the bureaucracy, not in relation to, as I said, it was not a political point I was making, but it was the truth. And it was not just the ministers that didn't seem to know how to proceed, but the bureaucracy is at the public service level. And we have to fix this if we are going to get anywhere as a country. As a member, in terms of my own activities, I am very happy to continue to work directly with persons of the territory from Anegada to Jos van Dyke on a regular basis. I have been working in terms of working with the community as a whole, persons in the community who are willing to donate funding. I have in fact asked them to do so that they can support our schools, so that they can support individuals who are in need. And I am very happy to do this. I'm a person who's very active on Facebook, so I don't need to talk too much about what I have been able to accomplish, but I'm pleased to do so as a person who has been elected as a territorial at-large representative. While on Anegada, one of the things that concerns me deeply, I believe it concerns all of us in the opposition, that the land titles that were offered, in fact, not just offered, but it was agreed that they would have been given to Anegadians a year ago, and they are still not given to the Anegadians. What is even more annoying and concerning to Anegadians is that persons who are not from Anegada are able to carry on their developments and ahead of Anegadians. And I call on the government to fix these kinds of issues. Worse yet was that last year we approved a supplementary provisions for the persons who had worked so hard on the Anegada Lands Commission, done all the hard work, all the groundwork to bring the numbers of, I think it was something like between 60 to 90 land grants that should have been approved and issued. And these people still have not been paid the monies that have been owed to them. Anegada is being treated like I wouldn't even call it a stepchild. Anegada is being treated in a fashion, it's like a distant cousin of the British Virgin Islands. And I call on the government to bring Anegada to the center, as I always say, and to give them the kind of attention that they need. And I'm sure the same holds as the member for the second would say in relation to this Just Van Dyke. Still on Anegada, of course, there were a number of Anegadians who had made applications for assistance under the micro and small business grants, and they were also left out of the fold. I hope, having spoken to them, having spoken to the ministry, spoken to the Department of Trade, that they will receive the grants that they are eligible for this year. One other area that I want to touch on too very quickly, I continue to be very passionate about financial services. I talked at the opening, and in fact at the budget debate, about the fact that I wanted to start what I called a boot camp for persons, British Virgin Islanders in the financial services industry. After we are finished with this session, I am pleased that a number of like-minded persons, including me, will get together to discuss how we might accomplish this, and with the objective of building greater confidence on the part of BV Islanders who are involved in the industry in financial services, getting them to understand what their role is, and you will be hearing more about this. And finally, my advocacy for cleaning up the country. I'm seeing some improvements. I want to just for 30 seconds, I know I'm out of time, but for 30 seconds talk about my Roots to Resilience program. And I would invite you to speak to Miss Brenda Letsum about that program. I'm very pleased with the progress. I'm grateful to my colleague here for starting us off with the cleanup, and we're now ready to paint the town. And I have to mention this. In all my joy, it turned to sadness when a few miles down from me in Havers, I saw a huge pile of derelict vehicles piled up. You can see them from the sea or beautiful waters, and you can see it from the land. I call on the government to fix our problems as they relate to garbage disposal. And I thank you very much, and I will be happy to answer any questions when the time comes. Thank you.